Hey, Helen.
Hi, Robin. It's the final countdown.
The first week of the last term is done and dusted. Amazing.
So this is such a short, fast
Yeah.
speed around the racetrack. I think we've got like 6 weeks of teaching and 2 very important weeks of testing.
And the big question is, why do we even test, Helen?
I don't know. I don't know the answer, so don't ask me, okay? So I did Google, what is the purpose of testing?
And this is what popped up. We loved it. A primary purpose of testing is to detect software failures so that defects may be discovered and corrected. Testing cannot establish that a product functions properly under all conditions, but only that it does not function properly under specific conditions.
This is such an awesome definition. I couldn't have wished for a better one.
Yeah.
I think it describes classroom teaching so well, and it clearly wasn't written for that. It was written for software.
But isn't that amazing that actually that is often what our testing at school is? It's just software failure, defects being discovered, and we don't often actually get to correct them.
Well, it does say we need to correct them.
But we don't really do that. And then it's also only assessed under a specific condition.
Yes. And properly. Do we assess properly? Oh, there's so much meat in this. Let's just move on to what the Department of Education says, that formal assessments are marked by the teachers and then recorded for progression purposes.
Yeah, so if you fail, you're defective and you must stay back.
And schooling is all about progression purposes.
Yes.
Do you move on or not?
And then the next thing it says it must be all moderated for the purpose of quality insurance. I mean, I feel like you're on a production line and there's got to be like, you get that little sticker to say it's been quality checked.
Except if education is standardized, as we propose it is,
we
shouldn't only be moderating within my school. I should be moderating within my district. And so we should be sharing papers everywhere else.
But is that even relevant at grade 4 level?
No, and I know that you just want to moderate in your own classroom because you know your own kids best.
I taught them. I know what we've discussed and etc. And so I should be able to go, yes, that answers a perfectly suitable answer for that question. I don't want the teacher next door
to tell me
because
you're a professional.
Totally. I hate moderation for that reason.
Totally. So then we go on to the fact that these tests and examinations must offer a range of questions, particularly different cognitive levels. And then we hit Bloom. And Bloom is not a bad boy, but this is something that I know I'm going to test Robin here because she doesn't like this. So they say that your knowledge, your memory recall should be 50%. That gives everyone a chance of getting 50% and passing.
But does it? Because it only really gives 50% to the people that have memorized stuff.
Or have got good parents who are able to drum it in their head or encourage them to study. Those hardworking parents who are not present in their lives are not pushing memory.
And ultimately, if that's what we're going to assess and value, that is what children and parents are going to value, and actually the world doesn't value that at all.
And later on in life that falls by the wayside, because if I don't know something, I just ask Siri and she tells me immediately.
Exactly. And while it's lovely to have a general knowledge, in this case I can guarantee you that probably, I'm thumb sucking, 99% of that rote learning, it doesn't form part of your general knowledge. It falls out your brain.
Totally. And so definitely moving to understanding, applying. And then, of course, for you and I really would like to see a lot more higher order.
Totally, because
all
that's
the
when
creative,
you see,
practical, evaluate, judge. What do you think?
And that's actually, that's when you get to see who knows what.
Yes.
Actually.
So Bloom is not bad. We're not dissing it.
No.
Just move higher up the level and start asking kids to design something, to create.
Judge, give an opinion.
Whatever.
Evaluate what you've learned, apply what you've learned even.
Definitely. And then our South African from KwaZulu-Natal, Craig Blewett, offers this taxonomy for the activated classroom, where he offers from going down from curation up to his highest order, which is chaos.
And look what is in the 21st century skill there, problem solving.
Yes, and so chaos is lovely. If you throw out a problem and you maybe even offer some solutions, but some weak ones, some strong ones, and ask the kids to pull it together, that's an exciting test.
No, it's lovely. That's a real assessment as opposed to a test.
Yes, exactly.
What have you got out of this? What have you learned, and what can you give? Because ultimately we want our children to be able to function in the real world and give back to it.
100%.
Problem
And so
solving.
this curation again is where you would give them a source and they'd have to pull out and identify elements and then put it together to answer a question.
Totally.
So I like what Craig's doing there too. Most of Craig's work is
Love
applied
this.
to the digital world, and it would be lovely to do some digital testing,
Some
self-marking,
assessing here,
some
yeah.
assessment.
And creation in this sort of space is amazing.
So this would be lovely, but we're not
Yeah.
going there today either.
My favorite.
So
Love
if I
this.
asked you to give me a memorized question about Columbus, what would you ask?
When did Columbus discover America?
Oh dear,
Standard
lovely
question.
date. And if
Yeah.
I asked you to think about Columbus,
How are Columbus and an astronaut similar or different? Already I'm engaged. I'm excited. I'm thinking about, how could they be the same? They're explorers.
I know,
Yeah.
well, that's the same, but then different. It's a modern technology versus,
Love it.
and then if you were creative thinking about Columbus,
Suppose Columbus had landed in California, i.e. on the other coast.
opposite.
How would our lives and history have been different? Isn't that
Awesome.
amazing?
That's real thinking. And
Yeah.
I would love to answer that. That excites me. Because
Totally.
now I'm going to close my eyes and think about it.
Yes.
But here's the problem, Rob. How do you mark it?
Well, that is a problem. You've got to look at maybe reasoning. You've got to look at judgment. Have they pulled in knowledge or ideas that you've discussed maybe in your lessons
Yes,
to
so
answer
facts
this
have to
question?
come in and be applied. And a
Yes.
rubric is always good for creative
And then you
questioning.
also have that great idea of I'll mark question 1, you mark question 2 of
Yes,
everybody's paper.
Yes. So I mark the whole grade's creative question on this, and
Yes.
so that there's
A level of-
standardization and
Yeah,
moderation.
A level of that.
Yes. Back to Sternberg, who analytical would be our Bloom's taxonomy. Creative, we do that I think we don't even need to talk about. Teachers are okay with analytical, but comparing is nice. Comparing that astronaut to Columbus, okay? Creative, we know, and practical. How would you do a practical thing, Rob?
So you could possibly not at the moment set up workstations where children sort of rotated around the classroom. So I'm not sure that
or
that's...
in an exam where they got that steel thing in between them,
Yeah.
they could just be given a little package with some goodies.
2 toilet rolls, a pipe cleaner,
Some
2 matches,
glue,
whatever. And now you have to
straws, and create
something.
a moon rover.
Love it. Because those practical kids, we don't often give them the chance in a formal assessment to show what they know.
We never do. And they are the ones who become very successful later on after school. When all the
Yes.
academia and rote memory is gone by the wayside, they then become
They
very
can solve
successful.
the real problems.
Yes. Okay. So we want problem solving in the practical side.
And the thing is, why are we actually even talking about this today?
Because this is an examination term.
And what are Coach in the Class going to be doing about the examination term?
Well, we're going to do this term every single week. We're going to offer you ideas to use those creative testing, to use the chaos, to evaluate. So starting next week, we want to show you how to use many different sources for answering questions, because that's not memory recall. You've got to utilize the source, apply the work in there to your question.
Love it. I love it. And
then don't forget, Coach Early Birds has got Hot Learning, which is where we were going into schools in the good old days and encouraging you to use higher order questions.
And helping you develop them.
And offering you examples in the different grades, in the different subjects, so that we were inspiring people to use higher order questioning.
Absolutely. And if you are wanting some facilitation or help with that, please get hold of us via email, message us on Facebook. We'd love to come visit you,
because we're back to level 1. We're allowed in your classroom.
Totally. So let's go back to our
So now
presentation.
what other help do we have to offer teachers for this term? Well, if we're not worrying about the teaching, the assessment, we're worrying about the teaching still.
Okay, so grade 4, we've got a full house this term.
Yay.
We've got geography, water in South Africa.
And I believe this is awesome. I spoke to someone yesterday who said her kids were already loving
it. We had this in term 2, but it's actually in caps for term 4, communication through history.
So if you haven't done it, come and use this. This was wonderful.
And then lastly, we've got NST, Planet Earth and Beyond.
And this, if you have a device, is going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
If you don't have a device, it's totally there for you too.
Absolutely. And then in grade 6?
Well, we were showing someone Medicine Through Time yesterday, and she nearly fell off her chair and said, "This is awesome. How do you sell this for 150 Rand?"
Yeah.
Remember, that's the Coke and the burger. It really is good material.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look at the medicine through the person, but rather through the problem that it was solving.
Yeah.
don't hesitate to take grade 6
Yeah.
medicine. Planet Earth and Beyond, don't hesitate either, but it's still happening because one of us is very fussy and doesn't like to send out things that aren't perfectly edited. And the other one of us is, I'll tell you, it is awesome.
Yeah.
And if I actually just give you a little bit of a tidbit to show you that the lesson note is rich with resources that you can go online and look at all sorts of interactive websites that we take you to NASA and just tempt you, because
Sure, you could spend hours here.
This site takes you to the solar system today, October the 15th at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
This is exactly where the planets are. And you can click on planets, moons. It is, and we do all of this with you, don't worry. We offer you from PSB these amazing things where if here's the sun, here's the earth, here's our moon. And as we're moving the moon, notice over here, we're seeing the phases of the moon as you drag it. And there are so many of these awesome tools. And then, of course, the worksheets. This is why we're not sending this out, because this worksheet, according to somebody, is not yet perfect, okay? But what it's doing is it's saying, what if? It's a problem solving. What would be the result if the Earth didn't have a 23,5 tilt, but it was straight up 90 degrees to the sun? Draw the scenario and then write about
it. Stunning. I love it.
Except Robin's going to make this look pretty, okay? And of course, we'd have no seasons. And there are many more of these cards, if you scroll down, waiting for you.
And even this, I mean, wouldn't that be a lovely assessment question?
Absolutely, that you could use.
Yeah.
So it is happening. We are getting it right. By in the end of this week, next week, all 8 lessons will be out there. No, there are actually 16 lessons because this is NST.
Yeah.
So it sells for the priceless sum of 2 hamburgers and 2 Cokes.
Yeah.
300 Rand.
350.
Yeah.
Don't forget the tip.
Don't forget the tip. Of course, you're going to pay the tip. So definitely go and use our work because I really believe it's worth it.
And we'll see you next Friday with our first in our series about assessments and helping you get some hot learning happening in your tests.
Have a great week, everyone.
Have a lovely weekend. See you again.